Hi, this is Katie. I am going to show you how to make a sketchbook today. This is a quick and easy project. All you need is paper and a stapler. There are other ways I can show you at the end of the video where if you're already good at sewing, it's pretty cool. But there are some really easy ways to do this with very few materials. All kinds of artists use sketchbooks too. They're very important to help artists figure out what they're going to do or to record time. Like I've been doing a lot of still lifes in my sketchbook lately, drawing all kinds of things around my house, and taking notes and planning different things. So I'll show you a couple of different ways that you can make a sketchbook. We've got lots of options. I've got some printer paper here, and I'm going to show you how to first make a sketchbook that is half this size, so it's pretty big. Choose maybe 3 pieces of sketch paper, or I mean printer paper or more. You can use sketch paper too, I guess. Whatever you have around is good. And then you're going to fold it in half. You're going to line these 2 sides up as carefully as you can and hold them together and down once they're lined up. Hold them as still as you can. There you go, on this part and this part. And then you can fold this other side of the paper. There you go, and you've got this beautiful half sheet, little section for the inside of your sketchbook. The inside of a book is called the book block, so this is your paper for your book. And then you can choose a cover, and you could choose something that you already were working on and use this as the cover. This is the same size paper, it's the same paper, so I can fold this in half and make this into the cover if I'd like to. You can also use construction paper if you want, so that's totally up to you. I'm going to fold that in half. Ooh, I like that. Okay, I'll use that side. That looks nice. Color wheel cover. And so I can put this paper inside here, and then I can staple at the top. I'm just going to staple 2 or 3 times. I might do 3. And I'm doing this very carefully, making sure that the staple, like I'm looking at the bottom where the staple meets the paper. And I'm trying to get it pretty close to the edge. That's not super lined up, but I don't really care. So I have all kinds of space in here to fill in whatever I want to. And I am so excited. I love this. This project is really fun. I'll show you how to make a half page too. And again, you could use construction paper, or you could use something else, you know, that you already have been working on. And then you can decorate this more. You could collage it with any kind of magazine to make it look really fancy, just with a glue stick. And I'll show you, I'll do that and I'll show you my results afterwards. But you can also make a small sketchbook, and I'll show you how to do that too. So what I'm going to do is, again, maybe choose 2 or 3 pieces of paper, fold that in half, hamburger fold, and cut along the seam so you've got a half sheet of paper. So I'm doing as good of a job as I can. So I'm just going to fold this in half as well. I lined up that side really well, hold it down, and then I've got a smaller sketchbook. I've got a half sheet of paper of a different color, and I can use that for my cover. This is the spine of the book, kind of like the backbone of the book. And so I'm going to put my paper inside of here, and then again I'm going to staple here and here. All right, so now I have a beautiful little sketchbook, and this could be another kind of book too. You could make a book about anything and use this format. Super cool. Let me show you some of the different kinds of covers that I made for my sketchbook. So you can do whatever you want too, of course. You could just be plain paper, that's fine. But I did some drawing on this drawing that already existed here, and then I did some collage on it. And this has crayon, colored pencil, and marker, and pencil. So, and collage. Then I wrote my name and the date on the inside. I think that's helpful because later on when you use your sketchbook, once you fill it up, you'll know when you were doing the drawings. This one has more collage on it. It's kind of fun. And here's the first one that I did. That's just colored pencil. So I wrote my name on it, and then I can start drawing whatever I want in the middle. Fill your sketchbook with whatever you want to and have so much fun. I'm excited for you. Hey, let's practice a type of book binding that uses a basic needle and thread. Just plain old needle and thread. So I'm going to take in this case I have 4 pieces of printer paper. I'm going to take those, fold them in half. And again, I'm lining up that side really carefully, just like when I made the first sketchbook block. I'm going to fold this in half the same way. Very carefully lining those sides up and pushing down, holding them still. And then I'm folding along this side, the spine of the book. And the next thing I'm going to do is put this paper inside of this other paper. Now, printer paper is 8.5 by 11, and a lot of construction paper and art paper is 9 by 12. So I've got this little tiny margin, and I like that. I quite like that. I've got some extra space around there so my sketch pages are safe and sound. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I have this extra paper from before, so I'm just going to use this. We don't want to waste anything. This is a good size because it's the same height. And so that's your goal, is to get a piece of paper that's the same size from here to here. So this is 8.5 by 11 paper, so it's 8.5, or this way. And so this is already folded in half, but I would say normally we just have a scrap of paper that's not all the way folded in half. So you're going to fold it in half, and then you're going to fold it in half again the other way, and open it back up again. And we're going to use these folds as guides to poke a hole through the spine of the book. And then that's this part, this backbone that holds the book together. So I'm going to poke a hole here, here, and here. And sometimes this is hard to see, so you can use a pencil or something else to mark that, so it's easier to see, because that fold is meant like sort of as a measurement. And then I'm going to take my needle and thread. I'm going to thread my needle. This is a good way of doing things if you're already good at sewing. It's hard if you don't already know how to sew to do this. But so maybe if you're already a little bit older, you already have practice sewing, then this is a good way of doing it. And I know that this is going to be difficult to poke through. If I had a thumbtack, I would use that, but I don't actually have a thumbtack right now. So I live in a very small house, so I don't really have a lot of things here. But I'm poking very carefully through the back of the book. Do you see I have been very careful, and I'm holding this paper together? And when you're using a needle, you need to be super careful. This is dangerous. It's a sharp, sharp object. So that's why I'm saying, if you don't already know how to do this and you don't have somebody to help you with it, then this is not a good choice. Just use a stapler. That also looks really cool. So I'm poking through the middle of my book, the very middle, and then I can turn it over and pull this thread through. I would like to leave a little bit of a tail. So that's a good tail. It doesn't really matter because I'm probably going to trim it later on. And then I'm going to go through this hole in the middle. Okay, so you see I've got this thread, and I'm being very careful with the needle because it is a dangerous object. And, you know, I want it to be not super loose. I'm going to turn my book over, and then I'm going to go all the way across. I'm going to pass this hole, and I'm going to go in to the middle of the book through this hole. And make sure your finger is not underneath this hole, okay? That's really important. And this is actually really hard. So it's possible that I'm doing it wrong because I cannot see the other side of the paper. Well, I did an okay job, but a lot of the time this takes some practice because this is hard to get through that hole. So I'm pulling here, and then what I'm going to do is tug just a little tiny bit, not super hard. Then I'm going to go through this middle hole and out of this middle hole. Okay, this is hard. Oh, see, I did it wrong. I poked through the wrong part of the paper. I want to try to get back through that one hole. And so you might like this more if you are 10 or over, because it can be very frustrating. One of my sides of my thread is on this side and one is on this side. So I'm going to tie a knot. I'm tugging on this a little bit, not too hard. And then I'm going to tie a double knot, which is 1 knot, 2 knots, double knot. And I'm going to trim this thread here. And you can do this on the middle of the book also. That's totally fine. I like it to be on the outside today. I changed my mind a lot though. I wanted it to be on the outside today so I could see it because I like this green thread. And so now my book is attached together.